Hey everybody, welcome back to Sons of Cinema. Today I want to do just a tiny review on Leprechaun Revenge. This is a short film that's currently on YouTube. It's produced by Fuzz on the Lens Productions, the producers of Terrifier 2. This movie is directed by Michael and Jason Levy. It stars Mark Holton, who was Ozzy in the original Leprechaun, but I'll always know him as Chubby from Teen Wolf because I love that movie. So if I slip and call him Chubby in this review, I apologize. It's a term of endearment. This also stars Lyndon Porco, who was the Leprechaun on Leprechaun Returns, and Marin Altman. Real quick before I get into the spoilers, I just want to say I had to do this short film, even though there's like 100 reviews on it right now. I had to do it to get the taste of Leprechaun the beginning out my damn mouth. I did a review on that if you want to check it out on my channel. Yeah, I had to get the taste of that movie out of my mouth. And I know technically it's not part of the Leprechaun franchise, but if you're going to use the name Leprechaun to steer people and trick people into watching your film, then you're going to have to take some criticism, and you're going to have it lumped in sometimes with the other Leprechaun movies. That being said, so this movie starts off where the original Leprechaun left off, where the Leprechaun is stuck in the well. Well, he gets out of the well at the beginning of this. He heads to Ozzy's house disguised as Ozzy's niece. He lets the Leprechaun in. The Leprechaun, as his niece, tricks Ozzy into coming down into his basement, where we see that Ozzy has like a garden full of clovers that he's been growing. Anyway, the Leprechaun eventually reveals himself to Ozzy. See, I'm almost wanting to call him Chubby. To Ozzy, and Ozzy tries to go up the stairs to get out of the basement. Well, the Leprechaun gets up there first with magic. Then he does an awesome rendition of pulling out Ozzy's eyeball, and it's like a slow pull where he's getting that eye. And I love any kind of eye shit, fingernail shit, or like toenail shit. I like any of that kind of stuff. I also like beheadings and shit like that on film, of course. Anyway, so he plucks out Ozzy's eye. Ozzy falls down the stairs, breaks and fucking snaps in half his fucking leg. Ozzy somehow manages to get up and start walking around with his compound fracture, and he grabs a hose with a sprayer, where he was going to try to spray the Leprechaun with a mixture of water and clovers, like 4-leaf clovers, kind of like similar to like vampire water, water and garlic mixed to shoot at vampires. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't go well for Ozzy. Leprechaun uses his magic, so Ozzy can't spray him. And then Leprechaun proceeds to chop Ozzy's fucking head off. He is so mad. He wants his gold coin. The last gold coin that, if you remember in the first movie, Ozzy swallowed. So it's in his stomach. So Leprechaun's chopping his head off because he's pissed. He wants his fucking gold. He chops Ozzy's head off most of the way, and then we get a cool, like, he just rips it off the rest of the way, looks at it, and just, discards of his head. And then he looks down Ozzy's neck, and he's, they're doing it from, like, the position of inside Ozzy's neck hole. He's looking down Ozzy's neck hole, and he's, like, down the hatch. So he goes literally into Ozzy's neck hole, and you see his two little feet wiggling around, and he goes into Ozzy's neck hole, grabs the gold coin, and then, unbelievably, he rips out of his asshole with the coin. And I know some people might watch this and be like, are you sure that was his asshole? Look, I caught it on the second viewing, and then I kind of studied it. The two pockets and the seam in the middle of the pants are in the back, and Leprechaun busts out with this last gold coin out of Ozzy's asshole. And, of course, Ozzy is dead. Rest in peace. And that's basically the whole entire film. Now, my thoughts on this real quick. I loved this shit. This was awesome. I really hope that the guys that did Terrifier 2 can do a Leprechaun movie full length. I think if we wanted to do a sequel, you could just bring back Maren Altman. She would be a good little heroine, just kind of like in the tradition of Terrifier and you know, the heroine in that film. So you could kind of do that with this Maren Altman. She's a really good actress. She wasn't bad. I'd like to see her in more films. So you could kind of do a sequel that way and then just make it gory as shit. It was awesome. And I love that under 10 minutes, they managed to give us some of the most badass Leprechaun shit ever put on film. And it was awesome. And it was so much better than a lot of the kills, even in Warwick Davis's movies. I apologize, but this was way like a step above. And I hope these guys can do a full feature film. So if you can somehow support these guys, let's do it, because I'm dying for another good Leprechaun movie. And you know that because, like I said, I watched Leprechaun the beginning in hopes of getting a badass Leprechaun movie, and I got probably the worst movie ever made, and it's even worse than the last Jeepers Creepers movie. That's how bad it is. Anyway, I love this movie. Please watch the short if you can. It's under 10 minutes. But I think if you watch it, you're probably going to watch it a couple times because it's really that badass. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you like this video, just please give me a like. Also subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment. I'm always looking to do other kinds of movies that maybe I've never seen before, other horror movies especially. So please let me know. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Peace.